Damas y caballeros, ladies and gentlemen, bienvenidos al show. Vida en cero gravedad. Life in zero gravity. Tú sabes las vibras. You know the vibes. By now you're well aware I am Zero Grav, your host. Been doing this for many a year. Oh, I got a lot of notes for you. This episode, I'm going to name the episode right now. I'm going to tell you the name. I already know the name. Well, actually, you're going to see it, huh? That's stupid. Okay. Announcement, though. This is actually not on these notes. So I'm going to start live streaming this. Just saw that Riverside has it where you can live stream on the TikTok. I think that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be setting it up where it's live. So that's a lot of fun. I've wanted more audience participation for the longest time, so I think that'd be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Got better internet over here now, so it should be a good time. I'm looking forward to it, ladies and gentlemen. So this episode is called Biden Time. You could probably tell what that is. I was like, sometimes it hits me before I even start. So, this is going to be an episode about, a lot of it is going to be about Mr. Joseph Robinette Biden. I couldn't believe Robinette was his middle name, by the way. I thought somebody made that up. Like some conservative was like, look at this liberal, this weak liberal cuck. But nope, that is actually his middle name. Fun fact. Didn't write that down either. But you could probably find that on Conservapedia. Conservapedia is both intentionally and unintentionally hilarious. If you go to it, so the whole thing seems to be, I've read a couple articles on there, and the whole point of it seems to be, let's just make up stuff about the left wing. Let's just make stuff up. Because Wikipedia is untrustworthy, so we're going to make our own thing that's going to just be totally like satire, but just like over the top mean satire to the point where it's like, okay, what is going on here? I'm going to try to pull up Conservapedia right now, maybe read you some entries. Maybe that'll be a new segment on here. Okay, Conservapedia. Hopefully you can still see me. I guess we will see how this goes. I probably should have put screen sharing, but whatever. Conservapedia, folks, just so you can see what it is. Worst liberal movies. There's an essay on it. You know what? I'll open up. Let's see what they think about. There's Earth. There's Christianity. Isaac Newton. I don't think they're going to like. They got Hunter Biden. What do they think about Teddy Roosevelt? That should be interesting. Teddy Roosevelt is actually... I guess it's not working. Conservapedia is not working. What a surprise. Okay, there we go. Teddy Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt. It says when he's born. 1858. Known as Teddy Roosevelt, or TR, was the outspokenly Anglo-imperialist, 26th president of the United States. At first I was like, okay, we got through a couple words without some bullshit, but Anglo-imperialist, I don't believe that applies to Mr. Theodore Roosevelt. I suppose we could see why the British kill American... I don't know what's going on here. I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, I don't think he's Anglo-imperialist. As far as I know, Theodore Roosevelt is not, especially for the time, is not one of the more racist presidents out there. So I don't see him being an Anglo-imperialist. But okay, maybe by today's standards, perhaps. A populist leader of the Republican Party and the Progressive Bull Moose Party, Roosevelt is best known for his enthusiasm for a strong and English-speaking American citizenry and his opposition to moderate Republicans. He was a nationalist who opposed the globalist Woodrow Wilson. See, they're not really, like, the issue with this one is they're just painting him to be more of a conservative than he really was. That's the issue with the Theodore Roosevelt thing. Because one of the interesting things, ironically, with conservatives these days is that one of his big things was breaking up the monopolies. Conservatives these days try to create more monopolies. So it's like you guys you kind of misleading people. They got presidential election 2016. Should we see what that's? Let's see what it says about the Democrat Party on Conservapedia. Let's see. Maybe I shouldn't keep this too long because, we got stuff to do. The Democrat Party is the grammatically correct term for the Democratic Party. The party is not democratic, and proper nouns like Democrat are not converted into adjectives by adding "ic" as a suffix. For example, it is not the Republicanic Party. Well, here's the thing. The Republic is to, you know what I mean? Like, the word republic is the word you're looking for there. But anyway, Republicanic would just be libertarianic. Yeah, see, you're just kind of, they're kind of missing the point. I don't think anyone calls it the Democratic Party anyway, right? I don't know. Anyway, yet many Democrats bristle at the term Democrat Party, and perhaps they prefer the false illusion that their party is somehow democratic, more democratic than other parties. In fact, the Democratic Party is less democratic than the other political parties. Okay. They're saying it was pro-slavery. Now it's pro-abortion. Okay. Yeah, it has changed over time. But it's interesting that that's the point they make. What are we looking for? Okay, this is just not. This isn't as wild as you would think. You know what? You got to get into. Let's just go. Let's get Joe. Where's Joe? Where's Big Biden? Biden. Let's see what they wrote about Joe Biden. Joseph Robinette, Joe Biden Jr., aka Pops, Pedo Pete, the Big Guy, Robert L. Peters, Robin Ware, J.R.B. Ware, and my chairman is the authoritarian kleptocrat and dictator of the United States. Biden identifies as a proud black woman and has been described by a close confidant as an egomaniacal autocrat. His own Justice Department labeled him as incompetent and unfit. 79% of Americans believe that the 2020 presidential election was unjustly manipulated by dishonest whitewashing of the Biden family's criminal activities. It was unjustly manipulated. Okay. The official position of the Biden regime. Yeah, so anyway, this is what they wrote. As you can see, it's just a bunch of BS, which is funny because they created this whole site because they're saying that you can't trust Wikipedia is too leftist or whatever, but they create this whole site that's like just totally BS. Like, none of it is really true. It's just it all has a political slant on it, which is what they hate about what they call left-wing media, which is funny. I don't know. It's just funny, man. It's ironic. I don't know if they get it. I think they are trying to be funny to an extent, but they don't realize how big of hypocrites they look like. Yeah, I don't think they realize that. But this country was built on conservative conspiracy theories. So, if you think about it, like, pilgrims were ultra right. They were like ultra MAGA. Actually, they were just MAG. They were all about making America great, But they were like the stuffy, tight-assed, like, whiners of England. They were the ones that were like, no, we can't be sexually liberated and all of that. They were like very much like stuffy, like, oh, sexual relations should only be for creating children and nothing else. There must be no pleasure on the woman's behalf. They're like that type of, that's what pilgrims were. They were the least fun people in Europe. and they came over to America. And I think a lot of that legacy is still here, if you think about it. That's still kind of the Republican way. So it's kind of funny. I don't know. I'm not, honestly, the older I get, the more I am an anarchist. Something weird is going on with this camera. I'm sorry. It'll be blurry sometimes and not blurry other times. What's going on, people? Come on. Let's see what we got here. Look at these teeth. I'm going to the dentist tomorrow, so I've been getting my teeth extra nice. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Pilgrims are ultra right. There's always been, the right-wing conspiracy theories have been a staple of this country from the beginning. In fact, that's pretty much how it started. The whole, because the first settlers, it was all taxation is theft and all that. Like no taxation without representation. Actually, they didn't say taxation is theft, my bad, but same type of thing. No taxation without representation. So they were, yeah, I just thought about it. I was like, yeah, the early United States, it was a bunch of like right wingers, pretty much. They were, in true right wing fashion, they were mowing down all the brown people that were on the continent, and they were abusing black people. That was the early settlers of this country. So kind of sounds like modern Republicans. I'm going wild, my bad. Anyway, something is strange about the Trump attack. I don't know. I'm not sure I believe everything we're being sold about that, but perhaps the details shall come out one day. For now, it's interesting. It's interesting. I'll say this. If all that we saw was real, if he really got shot and really like went down and got up and raised his fist, that's some pretty brave shit. I have to say. It might be stupid, but it's pretty brave. That's part of why I question, like, that's interesting. I don't think most people are standing up when if somebody shoots at you multiple times. Usually you don't stand up right after that, because there could be somebody else, or they may not have actually taken this person down. So kind of weird. I don't know. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say it's true, I guess. Just something weird about it. Anyway, we need a break from the politics for a second. I'm going to talk about the movies that I saw this week. I saw 3 movies in theaters this week. Pretty good. Lately, I was going every week for a while. Lately with Jazzy, like they don't have a lot of kids movies. So like I'll go watch the kids movies. Like lately there's a couple of them, but for the last like long while, there really have not been a lot of kids movies. I don't know what's going on with this thing. It's acting weird. You see, that looked better for a second. Let's see. Do we tip this down? Do we raise it up? I don't know. Sorry. I guess this episode is just going to be a little blurry. My bad. I don't know what's going on. It looked all crisp and clear, and then out of nowhere, now it looks pretty good again. I will see how it looks for y'all when it actually comes out. So anyway, I saw Maxxxine, which is the 3rd film in the series that started with X and then went to Pearl, and now it's Maxxxine. So basically, X was the first movie to come out, but chronologically, Pearl is the first movie, which was the second movie to come out, because Pearl is a prequel to X, and then Maxxxine is the sequel to X, and it's concluded now. I liked the movie. It felt like it was missing something, for one, I figured out part of it. Part of it is the fact that, so Maxxxine, porn star, moves to Hollywood, right? To change her fortunes, become a legit actress. When you call it Maxxxine and it's 3 X's in the title, I think you got to show more titties. I'm not saying that would have made it a better movie, but does it ever make it a worse movie? No, but in all seriousness, it's like, I feel like it was a little, I wasn't going to the movie for this, but in retrospect, when I thought about it, I'm like, that's kind of weird. I think they only showed titties like once, and it was very briefly. Kind of weird. Like they had like one kind of sex scene in there, and it wasn't even Maxxxine. Spoiler alert. So I thought that was a little weird. I think that was a missed opportunity. I think that was also probably like not the greatest marketing, you know, or like execution, I would say. Because it should have been, if this movie's about a porn star, it's a little weird that there's barely any allusion to that in the film, you know? I would have liked to have seen more callbacks or just like made it a little bit more risque. That's one problem. Another problem I have with it is that it just it wasn't really scary. There wasn't much violence. It was just kind of about her just becoming an actress with some horror elements. I don't know. I thought of the trilogy, this was the worst one. But it's still not. It's still good overall. I would recommend watching it, especially if you've seen the other two. But I was a little let down. I give it 7 out of 11 Zeus slaps God. I think it could have been better. I think Pearl may have been the best. X was probably the funnest. Pearl was probably the best overall film. And this was just the worst, overall. Even though I enjoyed it, I'm not saying it was bad. It probably sounds more negative, but I just saw the potential there, and it's like it just didn't quite reach that, And I really liked X and Pearl, and both of those are probably, let's say X is an 8 and Pearl is an 8.5, somewhere around those lines. I'd say something like that. Pearl was good. They both were good in different ways. So yeah, I mean maybe X had a little bit of the trope stuff going on, but I thought it was funny, and cool kind of reference to Texas Chainsaw Massacre in a way. Like just overall, good horror movie. I saw all horror movies this week, by the way, and the next one I saw was Longlegs. Longlegs, I almost want to give more credit than Maxxxine, but here's the problem with both of these movies is that you're sort of forced to compare them to past work. Longlegs has heavy elements of Silence of the Lambs, a classic, probably one of the best horror movies ever. If you consider it a horror movie, or it's one of the best suspense movies, I'd say it's a horror movie. There's 2 serial killers in it, so I'd say it's a horror movie. So I'll just say off the bat, Longlegs is not as good as Silence of the Lambs. Hard to compare. Hard to be compared to that, because it's a similar plot. Basically what it is like it's a female FBI agent that's tracking down a serial killer, and spoiler alert here, there's actually another killer involved in the whole thing. I guess it was a decent twist who the killer was, but it's just missing something. Nicolas Cage did a good job. Overall, I liked the movie. Just missing a little something, man. It was missing a little more mystery, I feel like. Just a little more mystery, a little more suspense. Both of these movies could have done with just a little better story, I think, is part of what it is. It's a little better story. I think we would have been good. Or like a little more tension created. There was some tension created, there was. So like overall, Longlegs almost feels better than Maxxxine. Like I almost wanted to give it a 7.5, but I think I'll stick with 7. I think they both they both could have been better, They're both close, but just not quite there. So that's what I would say. It's tough. I was looking forward to both of them, and I don't think they're bad. Nicolas Cage, by the way, with that, I think continues a hot streak. Honestly, I really liked, what was it, the unbearable weight of massive talent or whatever, that movie. You know what I'm talking about. That was a good one. What was the one? Oh man, Dream Scenario, is that what it is? That was a good one. And then there's another one in there too, and all of them have been good. This one was good. So yeah, I think he has like a very up and down kind of career, but it seems to be up right now. He's made good choices with his movies. I think he's a good actor. Not everybody agrees with that or thinks he really is, or maybe they think he's not consistent. He does make weird picks sometimes for his movies, like weird choices for like what films he wants to be in. But hey, I thought this one was pretty good. You know, had potential to be more, but what can you do? If you make a good movie, I guess that's not so bad. And then the other movie that I saw in theaters this week, which was my favorite of the movies I saw in theaters this week, and that is the movie Oddity. Oddity is an Irish horror movie, and I what this movie did better than the other two, I believe, was it felt like there's more tension, you know? That was like one of the number one things that, like, Oddity was legit like creepy. It was like I felt the horror in that one. Like I felt the tension, it made you nervous. And basically what Oddity was about, spoiler alert here, because the that's one thing too, is I really saw Oddity on a whim. The other two wasn't as much of a whim. Like for sure, Maxxxine I was actually planning to see for a while. Like since they announced it, I was like, oh, that's gonna be cool. And then it was cool, but it just could have been better. Oddity I didn't know about until that night. I was just looking up, is anything out? Because like I actually was planning to do a show with Phantom Mother, um, but he got too fucking drunk, man. Like I called him. He said so. I called him before I went to the gym, or he called me actually. And funny enough, he said, "Are you dodging me?" I was like, and I thought about it for a second. I'm like, "You're literally a ghost. I'm not dodging you. I don't have to dodge you. You will eventually disappear." Like that's his thing. He makes fun of himself for it. He relishes in being a ghost and just disappearing all the time. So I'm like, I don't have to dodge you. You will literally be gone. I know you will. So it's just kind of funny. But I wanted to have him on. I was excited. We were having a good conversation. Um, he happened to call right when I was going to go to the gym. So I was like, okay, let me go to the gym. I'll call you back. So I go to the gym, call him back. He's drunk as hell. He told me before we got off the phone that he was going to go get some more beer. And I was like, let's see about this. Or actually, I didn't call him back. I texted him and said, yo. I was like, I'm going to see how this response is. I'm going to know if he's drunk. If he doesn't respond at all, he's definitely drunk. Depending on how he responds, I think I can probably tell if he's drunk or not. So he calls. He's clearly drunk. He starts arguing with his Mima. And I was just like, it sounded like it was going to get bad. I was like, I don't even want to witness this. I hung up and was like, okay, I'm just going to watch a movie or something. And then I watched Oddity. So Oddity is about, spoiler alert on Oddity, my bad. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, because you should watch it. Actually, I'd recommend it over the other two, really, realistically. I don't know if everybody would like it, I guess, because it's a low budget movie. it doesn't take place in a lot of different locations. Thinking about it, it's only like 3 locations in the whole movie. So it's like a doctor's office, a house, and the Oddity store. So basically what it is this guy moves into this place with his wife, and she lets an intruder in and ends up getting killed. But it looks like the guy that killed her, or the guy that they say killed her, didn't actually kill her. It was actually someone else that killed her. So his wife's sister is like this blind lady that can like read, like she can pick up on energy and stuff, and like she could tell a lot about an object by holding it, especially if it belonged to someone. So basically that's why it's called Oddity, because it's the oddity shop that she runs, that's like all this stuff. And basically the guy that was accused of killing her sister, he had this glass eye. Like his eye got he lost his eye somehow. I guess there was a movie prior to this with the same character that where it explained how he lost his eye or whatever, but I forget what the reason was. Anyway, so this guy dies, and she touches the eye, and it's like she can see what they saw, or like she can basically pick up on what their spirit is saying, through that item. And basically, she learns that this guy, her brother-in-law, hired a man from the hospital to kill her sister, aka his wife. Wow, it's hard to explain this. Man, this is such a spoiler. My bad. I'm totally spoiling this movie. So I hope that if you wanted to watch this movie, you don't. But anyway, as you can tell, like, this is a pretty thickly layered plot for your usual horror movie, Had a much better story, I thought, than the other two. That's just what I thought. And so this guy, yeah, I won't spoil the entire movie, but that's basically your setup for it. Is like she finds out that this guy actually hired someone to kill her wife or his wife, because he met someone new, and like he doesn't really like what's it called? He doesn't love his wife anymore, but he feels like if he divorces her, she'll never get over him, which is I was thinking like, man, this guy is such a narcissist. Like, to think that, oh, I need to have her killed because she'll just never be able to get rid of those feelings for me. She'll just never be able to get over the fact that I broke up with her. And I'm just like, bro, she'll get over it. Women get over us usually faster than we get over them. Like, she'll be fine, bro. I just thought it was funny that was what he chose to go with. He thought like, oh yeah, I have to just get rid of her because she's never going to be able to like get over me. It's like, she'll be fine, man. You ain't that great. But yeah, so that movie, good tension, good acting, good story. I liked it. I give that one 8 out of 11 Zeus Slaps God. Part of me wants to give it 8.5. I think I'll stick with 8. Because of the accessibility. I don't think everybody will like it, and I think 8.5 is pretty high, so it's somewhere in there though. I wouldn't be mad at either rating. I'll stick with 8 for now. Actually, it might be 8.5. It might be 8.5. I really liked it. I really enjoyed that movie. So anyway, yes, Biden pulls out. He just nutted on us all. We are not prego. I wrote that. I don't know, just for fun. But yeah, Biden pulls out. Yeah, highly unlikely anyone but Kamala Harris is the candidate now because of the fundraising, because only she or Biden can access the money, and she herself just raised what, like 50 million in a couple hours, so it's looking like it's going to be her. Yeah, I think Democrats have a better chance with crazy Kamala than Sleepy Joe, I feel like they do. Like Sleepy Joe, it just looked like it wasn't gonna go well for him. He might have health problems now. I mean, he got COVID. And I mean, there's already right wing conspiracy theories that he's dead and they did this. Like, oh, he didn't really sign that letter. Here's the part where that kind of, unless you're going to come out with a clone theory, but he said in the letter that he will address like why he pulled out. So, how's he going to do that if he's dead? Like, he's going to do it not through a letter, but he's the his letter makes it appear as though he is going to do this in person. So unless you believe that they're going to create a clone of him or they already did, doesn't really make sense that he's dead and all that. Like, yeah, maybe that's just wishful thinking from the right wing. But yeah, I'd say that they have a better chance. She seems a little more lefty than Sleepy Joe. Kamala. Man, fucking Mike Pence. I can't. I've always fucked her name up because he fucked her name up, and I listened to that clip too many times where he says, "We're not gonna let Joe Biden and Kamala Harris cut America's meat." Well, now they're not gonna cut the meat, so there's that. America's meat will remain uncircumcised. But yeah, so stupid. It's still funny. I'm sorry. So yeah, but she is still a prosecutor, and fuck the police, So fuck that. She locked up a lot of innocent people and extended sentences, and laughed and smiled while doing it. So I don't 100% fuck with Kamala. Damn it, it's Kamala. God damn you, Mike Pence, you bastard, Mother Kamala. I don't know about Mother Kamala. I mean, she's certainly better than Trump. Trump's a disaster, man. I'm just gonna be honest. Y'all are fucking stupid to fall for that bullshit again. He's a he's just way too self-serving to be the president. He does most of his life revolves around serving his own ego, feeding his own ego. Um, he shouldn't be able to just fucking, get he shouldn't be able to commit actual crimes and just pardon himself and get away with it. Nobody should be able to do that. Fuck that. That honestly would be extremely detrimental to our democracy. You can't fucking do that. Because then it just, there's a chance this guy's going to try to be like a for real dictator and like in term limits and all this shit, or just stay there, use the army, whatever, man. What was interesting, somebody raised this question or this idea. I mean, but if Trump is deemed a threat, which he certainly could be deemed a threat at this point, right? Couldn't Joe Biden, because the Supreme Court has ruled that presidents are basically allowed to break the law as long as it's within their presidential duties or whatever. So if Biden decided that it was in his presidential duties to take out this threat to democracy who is looking to abuse the system, couldn't Trump actually get capped by the military and Biden be pardoned for that, basically, essentially, or like be face no punishment for that by their rules? Because I mean, Trump certainly could be deemed a threat. I mean, he is a threat to democracy. He's a threat to the country. So I don't know, just interesting to think about. I'm sure there's a way that couldn't happen or whatever, but honestly, I mean, like, part of me does wonder. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see who her running mate will be. I feel like it's going to be a moderate honky man, you know? Honky! I feel like it will be. that just makes the most sense. I mean, I would like to see somebody like AOC. There's like no way in hell that they would do that. I just want things to go full leftist. Let's just see what happens. Europe's been fine. They've been leftist for the longest time now. You know, every once in a while they swing a little right, but they've been fine. Europe is the only place that, or one of the only places in the world. I guess there's some other countries, but Europe is one of the only places in the world where you could argue that they're doing better than us in some ways. So those lefty policies have not been too bad for them. One thing that I would love is I'm tired of them being able to sell us this fucking poison food, man. Like, I don't give a fuck about their corporate profits. Like, we gotta, if it takes us cutting into them for us to not have to like become master researchers every time we go to the store and make sure we're not giving our kids fucking poison. I mean, I'm all in favor of that. I'm all for that. Like, we should be able to go to a grocery store and get food that's actually nutritious for us, instead of like having to worry like, oh, is this gonna like cause, is it going to cause a really bad cancer or just a mild cancer? You know, it's like, it's gotten so greedy and over the top, and it needs to change. So yeah, I don't know. Personally, I feel better about this. Like, it was getting worse for Joe day by day. You could see the support slipping, like just like Joe. You know, the support was Joe Biden on the stairs climbing up Air Force One. That's where the support was at. It was slipping, man. It was slipping. That's cheesy, but fuck it. It's, notice how sometimes stuff only gets called corny when people don't like it. Like, they were calling Kendrick's album Mr. Morale and the Track Skippers. No, I'm just playing. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Look at this. Now it's all focused. Ultra white. No, I'm not that white. Ultra white. Let's see. Focus. So they were saying that Kendrick's album was corny. I'm like, I don't really care for that album too much, but it's not really corny other than those accents. You know, or we're here right now. Are you strapped, brother? That whole brother thing, that brother verse on, I think he does it a couple times, but he for sure does on Rich Spirit. The peacekeeper, but I'm not naive, brother. Like, I don't like that. That is corny. But overall, the album's not corny. It just seems like Drake fans are mad. They're mad. They're as mad as Lupe Fiasco. Pupe the asshole. He is coming across like a dick. I don't understand what his problem with Kendrick is. Actually, I kind of do. He seems to be jealous that Kendrick has had way more success than he has with his little kick push. You know, doing the same style of rap as Lupe, similar style. You know, Kendrick has found a way to remain at the cutting edge of artistry, yet still be one of the most popular rappers in the world, going platinum every album, having #1 albums every time. And Lupe feels like he's a better MC, whatever, but he just has said some ridiculous things. He said Drake was a better rapper. He said Logic and King Los and other people were better lyricists than Kendrick. I'm like, bro, no. No, just no, you're tripping. Logic is corny, you know? He's not, don't get, I guess he's better than a lot of the mainstream stuff out there, but he's cheesy, man. He's not better than Kendrick. I don't even think he would say that. Maybe, I mean, he probably has some confidence as an MC, but I don't see how he's better than Kendrick in any way. You know, because the bad can offset the good. Like, he has some good lines, he also has some cheesy lines, and him talking about being mixed, beating it over people's heads all the time, like, I'm black as my cousin Keisha, I'm white as the as the Keeblers or whatever. I just threw that in there. I don't fucking know. But anyway, he'll say like, I'm black, I'm white, I'm black, I'm white. He looks like a white dude. Like, really, he looks like straight white. I mean, I think I've seen his dad. His dad's like light skinned black, I believe, from what I've seen. But Logic looks very white. But a lot of his, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but like a lot of his it's like I think he feels insecure about that, and he always feels the need to remind people like, hey guys, I'm half black, you know. But yeah, anyway, no, fucking Logic is not better than Kendrick. That's insane, Lupe. What the fuck are you doing? You could make the argument that Lupe is lyrically better than Kendrick, but here's the problem, Mr. Lupe. Here's the problem, Mr. Fiasco. You have made some very corny music, like The Show Goes On. All right, already the show goes on. Don't get this. You've made some extremely corny music, Mr. Lupe, and you're tripping. Simple as that. I don't know what to tell you, man. No, I mean, I like Lupe Fiasco, but that type of shit is annoying. It's like, it feels like you're hitting on Kendrick. It really does. And I'm not even the biggest Kendrick stan out there. I think he's a good rapper. I get kind of annoyed by his fans. I think some people do overrate him. They were calling him the GOAT before Mr. Morale even. I don't think Mr. Morale, for me, that didn't help his GOAT status because I felt like that was a very average album, you know, with really bad replay value. Like, I never want to listen to that. I really tried. I gave it the old college try. I swear to you, I listened to it like 50 times, that album. I really tried. There are like almost zero songs that I can even see listening to again. Like, I just was not feeling it for some reason. I guess the first track, United Grief, it ain't bad. I'd never liked the Worldwide Steppers. I don't like the beat, the delivery, the subject matter. You know, like, I was fucking a white girl. Next time I fucked a white girl in Copenhagen. But like, the flow sounds bad. And it's just, I don't like that. And it's just weird that y'all hype that up sometimes. Anyway, I'm not trying to shit on Kendrick. That's not what this is about. I'm trying to shit on Lupe. Poupe the asshole. No, I'm just playing. But Lupe is a great lyricist in his own right. He totally mismanaged his career. I think he's jealous because he sees like, oh, I could have been like Kendrick, maybe, but I think he's missing, you know, bar for bar, he can certainly match Kendrick. In fact, a lot of y'all think Kendrick is just unmatchable bar for bar, and that's not true. It's funny when the Kendrick fans like act like Eminem sucks, and it's like, bro, Eminem would likely bar Kendrick up in a battle. Like, if I had to pick, I do think it's more interesting now that we saw what Kendrick did to Drake, but Eminem is not Drake, and that would never happen. But I have just seen a lot more evidence from Eminem over the years. You know, they both were battle rappers, you know, but M had more success as a battle rapper and is known more. And I mean, that's his forte. Kendrick doesn't do the battle bars that much. M does them like every album. He got some battle bars on there. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, Lupe Fiasco is tripping, man. Ain't no fucking way Logic is better lyrically than Kendrick. That is insane. I think Logic is realistic at times. I don't think he would agree with that if it came down to it, you know. Like, I'm better than Kendrick, but you know, that's me. Yeah, believe in yourself as an MC. So yeah, when will we stop allowing them to run two bad options out there for us for president? It's getting ridiculous. Like, how the fuck did we end up with Biden and Trump in the first place? This is terrible. These are like some of the worst candidates, like, no joke, that we've ever had, I think. Not that, and Biden did a good job as president in his current state where he doesn't know where he is half the time and can barely string sentences together and just feels like a very old man at 81. Like, all that combined, I don't think he's a good candidate. I think he's better than Trump, but Trump is just literally like the worst candidate that we've seen, the worst major candidate. I'm sure there's like fucking, I don't know, David Duke ran or some shit, right? Didn't he run for president? Anyway. So, yeah, I just Biden. I never felt like there was as much support for Biden as there was hate for Trump anyway. I mean, I know that's what it was for me. I didn't really feel like, but I didn't guess I wouldn't say hate for Trump, but I didn't really feel like voting for Biden. I just felt like he was better than Trump. Trump, I've always seen as like a disaster, just because he's like a grown man child that is petty as it is and is very vengeful and spiteful. And it's like, we don't need somebody like that with the nuclear codes, stuff like that. I'm just like, no, man, we can't be doing that. Cough button. Hopefully that worked. Yeah, man. Just not Trump, man. He might win though. He has a good shot, honestly. But I feel more. I feel like now the Democrats have a much better chance. I don't think that Biden could have beat Trump at this point. I think he fucked himself up with that debate, and people just saw him as an old ass, feeble ass man, and who was like had dementia and just wasn't seeing stuff clearly. And I think it cost him. I think now people just don't see him as fit to be the president. Republicans are trying to have him step down now. Like, that's fucking ridiculous. They're so ridiculous with their bullshit. I swear, they're so ridiculous with their bullshit. I don't get it, man. But what can you do? Jeez. I just like, I don't know. I don't understand why things got like this. I don't understand why we ended up with these candidates. It's just y'all will just take whatever they feed you. It's like we've always had better options. Rarely does the best option win. I actually liked President Obama overall, but I mean he was still a corporate shill, was still, doing things to benefit business more. I mean, I like the healthcare idea, but it seemed like, oh, now we have to pay fees if we don't have healthcare. Like, this fucking sucks. So it's like either way, we're getting screwed. That's not cool. People can't afford healthcare, so they have to pay this fee. I remember at a certain point when I was young, when they were doing that. I was like, honestly, I'd rather just fucking pay the fee. It's less expensive than the insurance that I don't need because I'm young and like made of rubber and I'm just bouncing off the walls and jizzing on everything. You know, fuck that. Oh man, shout out to Fanto, man. Always showing love to my music, man. He just told me that I was surprised. He told me Everyone Means Everything to Someone is like his favorite album that I've made. And I thought for sure it was going to be like Chamber Zero or something like that. But it feels good that people appreciate that. People have said that. Actually, I hung out with a girl last night and she was saying that I was like a, underrated artist doing it for the love of it. And I'm like, damn. Then somebody today called me a rap god and said that I was an inspiration to them as a young father and all that. And I was just like, man, that's dope. You know, I'll take that all day over fucking a hit or whatever. You know, if I'm inspiring people and my music's making a difference in their life. Somebody told me that they listen to sunlight every day to get their mood right. You know, and I just love that. I love that I can be that for people. So thank y'all for listening and supporting what I do. I know I can be annoying, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you listening out there. I hope that you enjoy the show. Oh, maybe I was just too close. It seems like when I back up a little, it works. But I was trying to get. This is the thing is like I'm trying to get close enough to the mic where it's gonna sound good. I think it's sounding okay. Can't fully tell. Oh, I see when it's registering it. Oh, I should mark these clips more and shit. Script. I should make a script. Well, I kind of did. This isn't really a script. I just write basically like bullet points. Actually, yeah, exactly like that. Bullet points. Pow, pow, pow. So yeah, oh, Hulk Hogan sounded ridiculous as hell at the RNC, Republican National Convention, when he got up there. The Trumpomania is running wild on you, brother. Like, and he rips his shirt. People were comparing it to Idiocracy. Terry Crews' character, I forget his name, Camacho, President Camacho, or whatever. That whole shit, it was like, damn, this does. I mean, we've said for years on here. I mean, my boy Scott Galloway is the first to say this on these airwaves, but I've alluded to it as well. Is like that everything's becoming Idiocracy, man. Like Terry Crews' character in Idiocracy, that's what the Hulkster was doing, you know. And I mean, the guy, he seems to be a racist, and I mean, that whole thing. If you never seen the clip of him, when he sued Gawker for leaking his sex tape, he said like, Hulk Hogan, the character, has a 10-inch penis, brother, but me, Terry Bollea, my penis is not that big. Basically, he had to say this in court. I highly recommend watching that clip because that shit is funny as hell. Like, he had to say that because of course it shows his dick in the video. I mean, I haven't seen the video, but I'm guessing it shows his. I mean, it's a sex tape. I'm guessing it shows it. And he was basically saying that, like, to prove it was him, he was saying, "Yeah, I don't have a 10-inch penis, brother. That's just Hulk Hogan, not Terry Bollea." So it's like, man, I mean, I guess I get it. If I had like millions on the line, maybe I would be like, yeah, you know what? My dick's not as big as I said. Where's my millions at? I wouldn't really care in that sense. But it is still a pretty funny L to take, you know. Still a pretty funny L to take. Yeah, it's just. Oh, man. That guy used to be like America's hero. I guess for the right wing, he's still kind of heroic. But I also felt like, for real, like, there just aren't as many celebrities that are right wing, right? So they just take whoever the hell they can get. And fucking washed up ass Hulk Hogan getting on stage and tearing his shirt talking about Trumpomania. Like, y'all couldn't do better than that, for real? There's nobody else. There's nobody else that's right. I mean, you could add Clint Eastwood talking to the chair again. That would have been better, you know. I don't know if that would have worked with Biden because it would have been like, well, damn. I mean, you're older than Biden. He was like, oh man, Clint. I like Clint Eastwood overall. I mean, he's a Hollywood legend, but yeah, we probably wouldn't get along if we talked politics. He was all anti-Obama for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, I remember that whole thing with the chair at the RNC. It's just like, why is this happening? Why is this happening right now? Man, I'm hopeful that even if Trump wins, we'll get a better version of him. Like, if this fool really got shot and almost got his brains blown out, maybe he'll be a little more humble. I mean, so far it seems like he's still just the same asshole. Like, he started his speech like on unity and all this shit, and then he immediately was jumping into, it is Joe Biden's fault that I got shot. It was Joe, and he let the illegal immigrants in, and that's why, whatever his excuse was, they created this air of hostility, like whatever it was. They're trying to accuse Biden of like being the one that caused Trump to get shot, and I'm like, no. I mean, for one, you should really back off that stuff when you're accused of inciting a riot on January 6th. Like, maybe we should back the fuck off of that stance, because you yourself might get locked up for that shit, and then it's just gonna look really stupid, you know. But anyway, my people. Anyway, yeah, he might. I don't know. Trump might realize though that if he keeps talking like that, he could get clapped for real. So that might make him finally realize, like, oh, maybe I'm being a little reckless. But anyway, my Trump impression is pretty decent, I think. So America just has so much potential, but it's like we always end up getting ruled by greed. We end up ruining it in that way. It's like, oh, we're doing so well, things are getting better, and then like, JK, it's your boy Greed coming through. Always fucking shit up, man. Always fucking shit up. So that's what we got to deal with in America. It's sad though that it's gone that way. What, man? If it ain't the best country though, America's one of the best. Honestly, we still have a lot of work to do. I would say it's the best overall. I know there's things that are better in other countries, um, but overall, when you combine the free speech, the ability to really you really can like change your life in America more than you can in other countries, like for the better, you know. So there's all that. It's not perfect, but that's a powerful thing. Just to be able to change the fate of your family for generations. It's a lot easier to do that here than anywhere else. And that's cool. That's what makes America special, you know, but we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. And I hope we do it. I hope we get it right. I hope things get better, you know, regardless of who wins. Like I really don't want Trump to win just because I think he's going to destroy the fabric of the country. You know, I think it's deeper than like, oh, I like this guy's politics. I don't like this guy's politics. At this point, I don't even give a fuck about Trump's politics compared to the shit that it seems like he's going to do, which is just going to completely make a mockery of the office of president, you know? Like pardoning yourself and then punishing the people that he's talking about pardoning himself and then punishing the people that tried to prosecute him in the beginning. So it's just like you're really creating a dictatorship at that point, you know, and it seems like he wants a dictatorship. And I just don't think we should allow that. Fuck that. You know, this country has never been about that. That's why those right wing conspiracy theorists left in the first place, which is funny now that they're all for like this fucking would be dictator, you know. Just ridiculous. But yeah, JD Vance is a sellout. Why would you trust him? He's hungry for power. It's clear he's a sellout. You don't go anti Trump to being on the Trump ticket that quickly. You know, Republicans are mad as fuck about Biden dropping out, but they also say that he's unfit now. So if they're saying he's unfit to be president and he dropped out, what's the problem there? Y'all didn't want him in the race. Y'all claim to hate Biden. You don't like him. Now he's not going to, there's no way he's going to be president now. Unless something really weird happens, I guess. I'm still reading a book every week. This week I've been reading Colson Whitehead's The Underground Railroad. That guy has become one of my favorite authors, honestly. I would recommend checking out his stuff. I believe he's won 2 Pulitzer Prizes. I know he's won at least 2. I don't know if he's won any more since these books, you know. But yeah, I know I almost never talk about politics, but it seemed necessary this time. So, you know, I thought I might as well. Democrats and Republicans always unite to stomp out third parties. They say, oh, if you vote for them, you're throwing your vote away. And I just resent that. I've always hated that. I think we need more parties to get stuff done and just really to have fairness, because it's like I don't think those parties fully represent us as people, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. You know, go out and vote, have a voice. It doesn't hurt to vote, at least that I know of. But I'm sure somebody could say it does. But enjoy yourselves, have a good time, and I'll be back next week with more heat. Hopefully a guest. Let's see if any of you wusses want to step to the plate. And actually we're in this the perfect time because I feel really sleepy right now. And I hate falling asleep on here. It's just so unprofessional. So I'm sorry about that. But much peace to everybody. I'll be back next week. And until that time, man, this is Life in Zero Gravity. 4 ever, 5 ever, 11 ever. I love you.